This video has been recorded right before the new patch that happened the 13th of February of 2025, but the build order is still pretty fine. It is still okay to do this build order, especially if you're not a pro player, and if you're a pro player, I mean, you're not watching this video, of course. So this build order is very strong in 101, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, even in FFAs if you want. I'll tell you more in the video. Let's go. Hello everyone and welcome for a new video. Today we're gonna watch a build order for the Zhu Xi's legacy. A build order that is very strong at the moment with this civilization. We didn't saw that this build order that much on tournaments or whatever because, well, Zhu Xi is so strong that it is always banned in tournaments. So we didn't see really this this build order. I made it as simple as I could because I know sometimes Zhu Xi's and Chinese can be a very difficult civilization because there is the Imperial Official, there is also at the beginning of the game you can collect wood and then just after that put a mill and then your villagers drop off and then they, as it's supervised, they drop off more wood. It can be very difficult for a new player, so I decided to do it very simple in order for you to make it easily. And I think this is very important in order for everyone to do this build order. This is a very strong one, but you can improve it a little bit if you want, if you are a better player. But I mean, if you're a better player, you can do build orders yourself. So yeah, I'm presenting myself. I'm Jean Do. I'm a content creator. I'm a French content creator on AOE 4. And yeah, I'm starting to do stuffs in English. I'm a Kong 2, Kong 3 player on 101 and Kong 3 player on multiplayer. And yeah, today the build order that we are gonna watch is very strong on 101, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, FFAs, whatever. This is very strong, but you have to take into account two stuffs. The first stuff is that you don't want to do this build order on hybrid maps, on water maps, whatever. You understand why? Because, well, the water is better than the deers, and this is a pro scout build. So yeah, I don't know if I mentioned that it is a pro scout build, but yeah, this is a pro scout build. So you don't want to do it on water, of course, and also you don't want to do it if there is no deers on the map. Of course, if there is a very few deers, you don't want to do it because it costs you a lot to do the technology. And if you bring, I don't know, like for example 6 deers, this is not worth it. It's better if you can take at least two deer packs, which is equivalent to 14 deers. So okay, let's go for the build orders. I will try and explain you how to do it and also why is it strong. So the first thing you want to do is with your 5 villagers, you want to do the mill. Why you're doing a mill? Because with the Chinese and the Zhu Xi, I will talk also about the Chinese because this is an equivalent civilization and maybe it can help you at the same time. But yeah, when you do a mill, you can supervise it, and when you supervise it, you can drop into the building 20% more resources. This means that when a villager that carries 10 of resources, it drops 12 of resources. So this is very strong in order to have more resources, but also when you drop resources into the mill, you will collect taxes. Once a villager drop one time, it will be 1 of tax. You can make 1 gold every time a villager drop inside it. So if there is 5 villagers, you have 5 of gold. You understand it. And so you have to understand that an Imperial Official can carry at most 40 of gold, 40 of taxes. So every time you have 40 here, you will have to understand that you have to watch it and take your Imperial Official and collect, and then after that resupervise the building. This is very important. And also the stuff that you want to see here, that is that you put all your ships not under the TC, you move them just here in order to be sure that the villagers drop their resources into the mill, for the reason that I talked about before. Because sometimes when you put the ships like right here, even if it's closer to to drop into the mill. The villagers sometimes go and drop into the TC, and you want to avoid that at all costs. So that's why I'm putting the sheeps here, and you want to do the same thing. After that, you want to do a house, because you don't want to be pop cap, of course, and the first villagers that goes out of the TC will go do the mining camp, and the second one will also collect gold with the first one. So you have 5 villagers on the food, then after 2 villagers on the gold, and after the 2 villagers on the gold, you want to put all your villagers on the food. All the next villagers will be on the food until you age up. So this is very, very easy at the beginning of the game. You don't have to go to make a lot of stuff. Instead of, but you have to take into account your scouts. Of course, you have to take the most sheep as you can on the map. This is very important in order to have more food and to start well the game. So yeah, I will fast forward a little bit because every villager that you have will be on the food, and then we'll talk a little bit about the emplacement of your H2. This is very, very important as Zhu Xi because it can brings you a lot of resources. This is a very strong landmark. I think this is one of the best landmark of H2. I will say why. Because this landmark allows you to have a lot of resources. Okay, if you have, for example, 2 gold and 1 stone, this is not the case here, but on some maps it's possible. You can have 80 gold and 40 of stone. So this is equivalent to 3 villagers that are gathering resources. But as you can see at the beginning of the game, you don't have that much villagers. Here I have 11. So when my age up will be completed, I will have, for example, like 15 villagers, for example. Something like that. I don't know precisely the number, but it's something like that. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, I don't know. But the stuff that I want to talk about is having 3 more villagers while you have 15 villagers is very, very, very strong, and you will have a very good amount of resources thanks to that. So where do you want to put your meditation garden? I think the most important for you is to have the most resources as you can. So if there is something where you have, I don't know, berry bushes, where you have wood and also gold and also stone at the same time, well, you want to put it here. But if you have a choice like here, like, well, there is not an insane spot. I mean, I can put it here, but I have wood and only berry bushes. Or I put it here and I have gold and wood. I can put it here and I have stone and wood. But, I mean, this is not insane. You know, right? This is okay, but this is not an insane spot. So I want to have more gold. This is the most important, I think. And as long as I can, I will have to place it the nearest as possible of the wood. This is the best thing for me. And then after the stone is okay, and the last one is the food. Why? Because the food is kind of easy to have when you are doing a pro scout, of course. Because you're doing a pro scout. So if you do a pro scout, you will have a lot of food under your mill. So you don't have to put your meditation garden near the food. So okay, when you're starting your age 2, you're putting only one villager on the building of the landmark. And yeah, it can go very quickly because the Zhu Xi can have 100% at building the buildings. So this is very, very strong. And you want to put 4 villagers on the food because it allows you to have a constant production of villager. And you want to have 4 villagers on gold. So you take 2 of your villagers of the food and you put them on gold. And the rest of your villagers goes into the wood, and the TC will go also on the wood. Why? Because you want to have a stable very fast, and you want to do as fast as you can the professional scout. This is very important to have it as fast as you can. And also don't forget, as I mentioned before, but you at this timing you already had taken your imperial official and dropped your taxes once, and this is not a very long time before you do it again. When you have 40 resources, you have to collect and you have to re-supervise after it. Okay, So why Zhu Xi is a very strong civilization for that? I will mention it before going through the build order, because this is very, very important for you to understand. Zhu Xi is very strong for the reason that they supervise, the fact that you can supervise building. It's not gathering resources 20% faster. It's you drop off 20% more resources. This means that with a deer pack, you have 7 deer, with which you have 350 food per deer. So this is a lot of resources, of course, but with Zhu Xi and also Chinese, why is it very strong? It is because you don't have 350 per deer, but you have 350 plus 20% of 350, because you drop 20% more resources. So that's why it's very, very strong, because with all the civilization, you can gather quickly. You can have a lot of food very quickly, but you don't have more food. So what this allows you is to make farms far way later on the game. And so you have a very good timing where you can put pressure on your opponent, you can produce more army, etc. So this is very, very strong. Very, 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 very strong. That's why Zhu Xis and Chinese are, I think, the best civilization for the professional scout. And I think also Rus is one of the best civilization also. So moreover, you have a very good timing for that. You have the best timing because your landmark costs less. As you can see, this is 340 and 170 instead of 400 and 200. This is very, very strong, so you have a better timing, but also you have a better timing on your H3 because you will have the same reduction also, and this is very cool. And yeah, I think that's also with the meditation garden you have a better economy, as I said before. So all those reasons are making the Zhu Xi the best civilization to do pro scout, I think. And that's the reason why in tournaments you didn't see any Zhu Xi, because they were always banned because they were too strong, very, very, very strong, and so the players didn't want to play against that because it's too strong. Okay, so now that I said all of this, we will go through the build order. Sorry if this was long, but I think it's very interesting to talk about that because, yeah, it's making you understanding why the game, how the game works, and to develop some analysis of the game, etc. I think this is very important. So yeah, once you have more than 285, why I mentioned 285? Because the professional scout is 275, and you want to have also a second imperial official. But as I said before, you can collect taxes, it's 40. So if you have 275 plus 10, then you collect 40 with your taxes. You can have another imperial official because it costs 50, but also at the same time professional scout. So this is why it's important to stop at 285 or more. A little bit more is okay. Here I have 300. When you have that, you stop gathering gold and you go to the sheep with all those villagers that were gathering gold. And when you finish your landmark here, you will go also with this villager on food. So you will have 10 plus villagers on the food, and you will stay at 6 villager on wood. Once you go H2, you will be able to go with the professional scout. You click it immediately because it's very important to have it as fast as you can. As you can see, when I supervise the building, it comes 150% faster because of the supervise. So this is very, very strong. And yeah, you will have it like, well, at 4 minutes and 40 seconds. So this is pretty insane. At the same time, you will build a stable as fast as you can. And as fast as you can, also, you will put a second imperial official into the queue of your town center. As you see, I collected the taxes and I put it inside of the building because I wanted to have this imperial official as fast as I could. And once the stable is finished, I do immediately some scouts and I supervise, as you see, with the imperial official. The stable, I stop supervising the mill. I supervise the stable, and the next imperial official that will come out of the town center will supervise the mill after that. Okay, so this is why Zhu Xi and Chinese is a little bit difficult, because you have to be very careful about your imperial officials. This is very this is very time consuming. This is very strategic. You have to understand how it works, and that's why I'm explaining so much what is happening in the game, because it's a very difficult civilization, I think, with the Chinese and the Zhu Xi. Okay, so we will have the imperial official. You have a lot of villagers into the food, because you want to do very fast your scout. And as you can see, this is supervised, so this comes 150% faster. So here at this timing, I have my pro scout that is completed since 4 minutes and 40 seconds, and at 5 minutes and 15 seconds I already have 3 scouts that were coming out of the stable, and I also have another scout that is I don't know where it is. It is here, that were gathering also the sheeps and collecting information about my opponents. So this is a very fast build order, where you are very fast on the map, and you can take very fast all the deers. And I mean, at 5 minutes and 20 seconds there are no army from any civilization. This is too fast. This is impossible for your opponent to counter that. So that's why also it's very strong, because you have the best timing of the game. And yeah, I mean, this is too strong. Once you've done with your scouts, I mean, you can stop at 6 or 7 scouts. I think this is enough. You can collect all the deers. I recommend you to have 7. Why? Because, well, the packs of the deer packs have 7 deers inside of it. So if you have 7, you take the 7 of them and you go to another pack, and etc. And this is very strong. So after that, the build order kind of changed a little bit. Well, it depends of what your opponent is doing. If you're on 1v1, and also if you are on 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, it depends also of that. So you have to scout what your opponent is doing. That's why I recommend you to have at least 1 scout of more that is scouting your opponent if you're on 1v1. At least if you're on 1v1. If you're on 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, it's not mandatory, but I think it's better to have it still. So you can see exactly what your opponent is doing, if he's doing army, if he's going fast H3, whatever. And then you can adapt to your opponent. If he's doing army, you want to counter his army, and then you want to do a little bit of army yourself. So if this is the case, you want to take all your, well, a lot of villagers and put them onto the wood. And you want to stop gathering that much food. What you can do is just, I don't know, put 10 to 15 villagers on wood, the rest on the food, and you can rally point your town center on the food. And then you are gonna collect a lot of wood that will allow you to do, I don't know, for some archery range or barracks, etc. So this is the end of the build order, as I said before, but I'm trying to help you also understanding what you can do after this build order, in order to comprehend how the game works again. So yeah, if you want to go H3, as I did here, you want to stay with 5 villagers on the wood. You want to put 5 villagers on gold and the rest of the villagers all on the food. And you want to have at least 3 imperial officials. The first one will supervise the mill, the second one will supervise the mining camp, and the third one will collect taxes from everywhere. And it will do it automatically, because you have this button that helps you. With your scouts, you always want to take all the deers, and yeah, if you're going fast H3, then it's obvious that your opponent will not counter you, because you saw that your opponent was not making army. If your opponent is making army, you have to do a little bit of army in order to protect your scouts, in order to have the control of the map, and then take all the deers of the map. That's the main reason why you want to do this this build order. So it's bad if you don't make army and your opponent does, then you cannot take all the deers of the map, and that's kind of sad, of course. So if you want to do fast H3 and you're afraid that your opponent comes with some cavalry, you can do a little bit of an outpost if you want. And yeah, as you can see, you collect very fast your resources. And I will have very, very good timing on H3, even if I did Pro Scout. That's why it's very, very strong to have this build order. I saw that my opponent had a little bit of army, so I decided to do like 2 horsemen, for example, and also an archery range, in order to have counters of his man-at-arms with my, for example, my crossbowmen that I will have thanks to my H3. So as I said before, what is very strong with the Zhu Xi is that you will have very fast H3 because it costs less, as I said before, if you didn't do your Song Dynasty, and you won't have to do it because you have a lot of deers under your mill, so this is not mandatory, of course. And then you're going H3, and what is very strong is that you can do Shaolin monks that cost food, but you have so much food that you don't care that it costs food. And yeah, you can do an army with the knights, but also with crossbowmen, and also as you have your relics, it's very easy to have gold, and you have the control of the map. This is a very, very strong build order, as I said before. Don't hesitate to take on the mill to do the survival technique, and also horticulture. You want to do also the special pick and the double broadaxe. After the double broadaxe is the last one you want to do, because you don't have that much villagers on the wood. So yeah, you want to do the Shaolin monks and take all the relics of the map. I will show you a little bit, but this is not that interesting. As you can see, my opponent did a lot of army, and even if I didn't protect it against this army, my build order is very, very insane. As I said before, if your opponent on 101 is making army, you want to have an army. On 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, you can sometimes do other stuff if you want. Here I made some grenadiers because I want to test it, but I think this is not a very great unit. I think crossbowmen are better. Don't hesitate to do some horsemen too, and also to do a barracks and do some man-at-arms. I don't know how it's called with the Chinese and the Zhu Xi, I don't remember. But this is a very strong unit. But you also have the Shaolin monk that can tank and that are very, very strong on those fights. So I took a little bit of relics. I have 3 of them, not that much, but I had an opponent that also did some kind of same plan, and also an ally, I think, that took a lot of relics. I don't remember. No, not my allies, but yeah, I don't remember how oh yeah, this was the Ottoman that took a lot of relics at the same time, and as I was very far from the relics. But yeah, I mean, 3 relics is okay. Don't hesitate to do your Song Dynasty if you want to do the buildings. For example, the granary, and also all the buildings cost less, and the transition into farm cost less also. I made it when I didn't have deers under my mill anymore. So this is the stuff that you want to do. You want to start making farms right after you don't have deers anymore under your mill. And if you have the control of the map, of course, you can take the berry bushes, you can take also the boar, etc. But this is not mandatory here, because this will put my villagers at risk, because we are on 3v3, of course. But on 101, we're not that afraid. Don't hesitate to do some towers to protect it. It can be interesting. And the build order is that strong that I just 1v2, 2%. This is the Ottoman and the Japanese. I destroyed both of their army just by myself. This is a very insane build order, and you didn't saw that because it was ×8, but this is very strong. So yeah, that's pretty much it with this build order. Don't hesitate to tell me in the comments what you think about that. Don't hesitate to ask me some question if you want. I will be glad to answer you. And yeah, my goal is to help you the most as I can in order to improve in AOE 4. So yeah, don't hesitate to subscribe if you liked it, and see you in the next one. Bye.